This is Chala Dincoy, the CEO and founder of The Repositioning Expert, coming to you with another Tea Time Tuesday with Chala. And today we are talking about, we are not spilling our tea on our chair. Somebody I was talking to said, I'm just watching that, it's hilarious. Wasn't so funny while I was in it, but yeah, so many weeks later now, because we did a great launch of another live launch of a boot camp, and that was like a 9-day giving birth extravaganza that was called the B2B Elevator Pitch Boot Camp. So if you guys missed that, you can always catch the next round. I'm going to tell you about some new stuff that's coming down. But today we're talking about exactly what I'm doing right now, building trust on social media, and how you as a business owner, an entrepreneur, a CEO, and and a brand can build trust online through the only thing that's available to us right now, especially during COVID, through social media. I'm getting a lot of large companies. I mean, I had a conversation, a sales conversation. I'm blessed to have had a sales conversation this past week with close to $1 billion company about, you know, how they are really trying to figure this whole social media stuff out and how to do social selling, because all of their traditional channels are, you know, have been affected. So, and that's the missing piece, and they never felt it as acutely as being missing as it is during this, you know, post-COVID or during this COVID era. And so I did some research, as I always do, and before I talk about the several ways that you can build trust through social media, I wanted to talk to you about, you know, the whole B2B buying space. And I've done this through the past. I've kept my finger on the pulse of buyers through really great studies that are available in the market about what's happening to buyers, what's happening to buyer behavior, and what's happening to especially the B2B corporate buyers. So here's what's happening is that, I don't know if you remember me telling you, but the online ordering went up for both businesses and consumers. But here's the most interesting part is the part that went up the highest is mobile app ordering for a B2B buyer. It went up 254%. And look at everything else that they're doing less of in lieu of mobile app ordering, which is insane. Emailing the rep went down 17%. Using their own company's procurement department went down 39%. And then calling a rep is a thing of the past, went down 38%. I mean, these are like double digits. These are like almost, you know, a half. And then the rep in-person order, of course, went almost 50%. And then when we look at where the problem started in the first place, the Chinese consumers and the Chinese market, what the Chinese consumers are reporting is that 50% of them are saying that they will never go back to in-person grocery shopping. They're going to continue to purchase digitally, you know, online groceries. So if you think about that pattern and where they started, you know, because that's where COVID started, then you can make projections that these trends are here to stay, you guys. At least the majority of them are here to stay. So the one of the studies that was done for the B2B market was the McKinsey study, and they said that the digital sales is now more than twice as important as the traditional sales models. And it's really all come down to social media, because what else is there to drive people to get the information around the purchase and to drive them to the actual purchase? So the number one thing that I want you to consider on how to build trust on social media is to use social media to listen, whether it's your consumer or your customer. And how you do that is, if you're a big brand that is talked about a lot, is reviewed a lot, is mentioned on posts and blogs and boards, then it's called social listening. What you have to do is you have to tap into those and you have to listen. Now, if you're a small business like me, then what you have to listen for is the pain point of your ideal target, and maybe reach out to them and just conversationally ask them about what their reality is like. So for example, we're now getting registrations. We're recruiting students to register for another event that I'm holding on October the 20th, and it's I'm going to tell you about it, but it's all about the fact of using a super niche to differentiate coaches and consultants. And we're talking to them online on LinkedIn, and we're asking about what new and exciting projects they're working on, what is their new normal look like, what realities have they had to shift and pivot, and how we can help best serve them through this whole concept of differentiating through super niching. So I'm finding out all of that information online, you guys. I haven't left this office, which is my living space. I've been fused to the chair. Not this chair, I usually sit at my desk, but I've been fused to a Zoom chair. You know, I toggle between Zoom and LinkedIn. So my world is Zoom and LinkedIn, and that's what the B2B world is like today. But that's where I'm doing my social listening. So if you've got a B2C and even some B2B, you have to be in the groups that your prospects are in, and you have to be following the threads of conversation, opening up a conversation yourself to ask the questions that I'm asking around, what are you needing right now? What are you working on right now? What's happening in your world right now? How are you interacting right now? And then respond to their needs with what you're offering. If you're noticing what I'm doing, I'm continually launching something. I'm continually creating something around a need that I am continually gauging is needed for you guys, who's my audience on my social media, that I've strategically created because it's my target group. So social listen is the number one way to build that trust on social media. Number two is being visible, being present. So if you never felt comfortable doing a presentation, I love this concept of selling on the camera. Selling on stage is, you know, I don't know when it's going to come back for me. I know some people are still doing it, but selling from the camera is going to be something that you master, that you learn. And I'm not doing selling right now. What I'm doing is educating, but in essence, it's marketing. So when you start to do it often and do it enough times that you get so comfortable that it's as if you're in person, that's where your visibility is really going to shine. And that's where you're going to be able to gain that comfort level so that you can stand out and stand up and sit up, I should say, and sound confident enough to be able to help the people that around the topic of expertise that you have. So that's another way to get to use social media to gain their trust, is to get into their living rooms, to get into, you know, their bedrooms, wherever they're watching the content, wherever their social media feeds are, that you're giving them content around their pain. And trust is the number one way to cut down on the time that it takes to close your sales. It's the number one way to get a sale and to close the sale faster. So remember, all of these things that I'm teaching you are going to increase your rate of sales and increase your speed of sales. So that's why it's relevant and important. And the tea, I always make it just before I'm about to go on air. And of course, it's too hot for me to ever drink. So I'm going to try to, I hope I don't burn myself. I kind of did, but that's okay. We will move on to why and how to create trust on social media. So the first thing we said was social listen. The second is be visible. And the third is be consistent. Like, I am exhausted beyond belief. I've been wearing the same dress. I had to redo my makeup since like 8 a.m. The last time I did my makeup was 7:30. Or when I wore this dress was 7:30. I didn't even get a workout in today. So you don't need to hear all that. But what I'm saying is, I do this because I want to be consistent. And by the way, because it's so hard for me to do 7:30s, because like right now, Logan's in his room and he's doing TikTok, and he's already done his electronics 2 hours a day. So this is kind of like, I should be reading to him right now. So I will be reading to him as of, I think 2 weeks from now or next week. We're going to move these to 3 o'clock. And most of you watch it in replays anyway, so, I'm sure most of you won't notice, but for those of you who do usually look forward to seeing me, I am always consistent. I'm consistent with the kind of facts that I deliver, the style, the message, the delivery, and the value that I'm trying to give to you. This is part of giving value to my community online through social media, and I'm consistent. When I say I'm going to be there, if I say I have a 7:30 slot every Tuesday Tea with Chala, I don't do it on Wednesdays. I don't do it at 7 o'clock. I do it exactly on the dot, and I make sure that I'm ready. And often there's only like 1 or 2 people watching this right now live, but I'm still here. I'm still here because I said I would be. Consistency. So the other thing that I always talk to my clients about is newsletters, like sending an email blast with a nurture information, just information about your life, your business, but also something that pertains to their pain and their issues that you can provide stories around, stories of comfort and success and how you've helped other people in the same problem. And the thing about having a newsletter is a lot of people don't want to do it because it has to be consistent. So the way that my clients and I plan it is I want them to do it like maybe just sit down and do a whole bunch and then plan it out for the month if they have to do. And I do love it when my clients themselves, the CEOs themselves, are the person who is providing that content because they are the soul, the memory, the history of that business. They know exactly what clients they helped and what problems they solved and how they solved it and what the results were. They are the most credible and the best person to tell those stories. And whatever your technique is, whether you're better at writing journalistic style, you're better at blogging, or you're better at just opening your mouth and talking like this, or you're better at having someone interview you, or you're better at just filling in an audio version of whatever you want to say, the story on your phone, it's all content, you guys. You just have to make sure that it's consistent. And the more visible it is, the better. I've told you about a tool called Loom.com where you can just record a video and just send a link without having to download anything. It's just, one link click to record and one click and link copy to send to paste on anywhere, on email or in LinkedIn DMs, anywhere at all. So use some of those ways to stay consistently and repeatedly with the same message in front of your prospects through the use of social media. This is how you build trust through consistency. I have content that's scheduled on my social media every day. These things are not expensive, and you can get people to do this fairly inexpensively from offshore. I mean, I have a team that does social selling in the Philippines. And, I love them. They're so professional. They're so really well trained. They've worked on so many other campaigns and they're helping me so much. And most of you have met Jazz and she has her team, right? So these things are completely outsourceable and they're easy for you to do. The key is consistency, that you do them over and over. So lastly, the way to build trust on social media is remember to talk about their pain. Remember to always get into what is the problem that my clients are facing today, especially in the world of COVID, and how can I be of service to them, and how can my content and what I say to them be of value to them? Because it's wonderful that you're in front of them all the time. It's wonderful that you're using like cameras like this or voicemail or a DM a voicemail, however you're using it. It's great, but I want you to make it about them. I want you to make it about their problem because people only want to hear solutions to their problems, right? And yeah, they want to be entertained. That's great. But mostly what they're looking for in a B2B context is for you to solve their problems, and it positions you as an expert if you already know, because you've done the market research to figure out what problem they have and how you've helped solve it in the past. Tell them stories. So with that, I want to invite you guys to my new event, which is going to happen on October the 20th. And that one is all about figuring out, uncovering your super niche to differentiate so you stop twinning your competition. And the reason for that is, of course, 86% of buyers can't tell the difference between two suppliers who are in the same industry. And so what happens is you get price shopped, you get ghosted, You can't get into meetings. You don't have enough leads in the pipeline. And even when you do get into a meeting, you can't close it, because not only is it so hard for you to get that meeting, but it's so hard for you to precisely convey what the value that you offer. So you get thank you, we'll think about it, let us get back to you, and you never hear from them again. So if these are some of the issues that you're facing as a business owner, I'm doing this time only a 90-minute instead of a 9-day training that's going to help you develop that, uncover that really highly profitable super niche, so that you'll be able to use that to hook buyers into meetings and to be able to close those meetings fast. All right. In order to register, go down to the link below, which I'm sure Crystal's going to put on here when she's editing all this. But in case you watched this before, hi Marilla, what you can do is go to repositioner.com/differentiate, and that's how you'll be able to sign up. And I will see you on that live training. It's going to be on Zoom, and it's going to be live in Facebook. So we're going to double stream it again. And I will see you on the 20th. And if not, remember to catch me earlier. I think we're going to do it at 3 o'clock, the Tuesday Tea with Chala. It's not going to be at night anymore. And we'll be able to catch up again soon. I just had a message pop up from my team from the Philippines. But thank you so much, everyone. Take care and have a good night.